Welcome to the DOC, Dose of Courage, where courage crusaders from all across the globe come to get what they need to become bolder, more confident, and courageous enough to be who God has called them to be, do what God has called them to do, and take possession of everything God said they could have. I'm your host, Courage Molina, Chief Courage Crusader. Let's go. Today's episode is brought to you by the Dose of Courage community on Facebook. In a time where we are social distancing, online communities are going to help us to stay connected and help us to avoid things like isolation and can reduce the risk of overwhelm. If you want to build relationships, if you want to get connected to other women who are spirit-led, women of faith, prayer warriors, positive thinking, if you want to get connected to women like that, then Dose of Courage community is the community for you. Simply go to Facebook, hashtag Dose of Courage, and that will take you directly to our community. You can also click the link in the show notes, okay? Hope to see you over there. Today I have a treat for you. It's been a while. My good friend, Amber Lykins, has finally gotten on my calendar, and we were able to sit down and record this amazing episode for you guys. Let me tell you just a little bit about Amber. She has been in the cosmetic industry for 12 years, and she truly has a passion for beauty, image, and self-confidence. She is an influencer, she is a makeup artist, and she is a Mary Kay sales director and has been for quite some time. She provides one-on-one beauty consultations and group beauty sessions. They are amazing, they're fun, they're relaxing. She really helps women to feel as beautiful on the outside, to look as beautiful on the outside as they are on the inside. She is all about building relationships. She has an amazing family. Just great. YouTuber, all the things. And so I want you to join us for this conversation just about the importance of being bold, finding courage. She is everything that the Dose of Courage stands for. So help me to welcome my good friend, Amber Lykins. Welcome to the Dose of Courage podcast. Hey, girl. Hey.
What's up, girl? I'm excited to be here. This is so cool. I feel so special because you're super famous.
Oh, my goodness.
And you want to talk to me.
Well, basically, she's got a very prophetic way of speaking. And so while I may not be famous, I certainly will be. That's one of the things that I love about you, actually, the way that you speak. Now, when I first met her, I wasn't that sure of her, but Olivia spoke very highly of you. And y'all know Olivia, she does all the graphics for everything. Me and Olivia go way back, so I feel like she still might like people that I don't necessarily rock with because she's a little bit more laid back than I am. And my energy doesn't always mesh well with other people's energy. But I was like, okay, fine. She's like, oh, she's so great. And her mom's so great. I was like, she's not so great. She's probably regular. But then I met your mom first. And Dana,
yeah, you actually did.
Dana's the actual GOAT. And I was like, okay. And I kept saying, oh my gosh, I love this lady. I love this lady. And Olivia's like, well, if you love her, then you're really going to love Amber. So great. She's so wonderful. I was like rolling my eyes. I roll all the time. She's not that good.
So funny. Funny.
Isn't that crazy how we are though? But I will say this. When you have great people in your life, and Olivia is a great person, then you have access to the other great people that they meet in different areas, which is why relationships are so important. And so I knew that you sold Mary Kay, and Olivia is a makeup girl, and so she's like, when I say she's a makeup girl, I mean she's actually interested in makeup, which I'm not that interested in, as you know. First of all, you guys can't see her, but she looks absolutely gorgeous. She's got a full face. Meanwhile, I have on lip gloss and I have a clean face, as in I washed it. Right? But
Oh.
because you did Mary Kay and Olivia was interested in makeup, I thought, well, obviously they hit it off. And I was not interested at all. But I met you and you had an amazing team. And actually, someone from your team invested in me to start my Mary Kay business. And so I
I
joined the team.
forgot about that.
Yes, Amy, right?
Wow. It's like I didn't forget, but I forgot. You're right.
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
I know. And so I think that really speaks to like how you are, like how you lead your team as a Mary
Mhm.
Kay sales director. And so here we are. So fast forward, that was like a year ago, was it?
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
over a year, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, we've been through so much in our friendship that I feel like it's been like 5 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how friendships speed up so fast, and you're like, we've talked about so much, we've done so much, we've gone
Yes.
places, like all the things, and I'm like, only a year? Okay.
Yes. Yes, it has been absolutely amazing. Um But this is what I really love about Amber, because I've met, and I'm gonna just say this, y'all can feel how you want to feel. I've met people who do like direct sales, and they typically are not really interested in building relationships outside of how it serves their business, or
Mm.
outside of how, like, I'm just trying to build my team. So even though I know you're not interested in this, I think that you should do it so that you can make money. And by the way, that was not Amy's approach to me. She was
Mm-mm.
like, "You are amazing. I saw your live. The whole world needs to hear you. Let Mary Kay be your platform." That's how she spun it. It wasn't like, "Oh, but you wear makeup," or, "Oh, but you could." It wasn't that way. It was, what else can we do? What do I have in my hands that can actually help you to get further along the thing that you actually want to do in life? And I
Yeah.
don't think that you see that a lot in direct sales. And so I think that's very unique to you and your team, where you're not just a Mary Kay sales director, which is a big freaking deal, by the way. Um, I'm not saying it like it's small. That's not small potatoes. Like, she's legit. That's what that means. But you are an entrepreneur. So can you like just tell us a little bit about how you got into this Mary Kay, like, and not just so much how you got into Mary Kay, but how you are the way you are, how you're
Yeah.
Amber Michelle Lykins, like standing out among all these other people who may be doing the same thing, but you are like just like in a whole nother category. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I honestly always relate things back to how my mom spoke to me growing up, because I struggled with a lot in my life as far as like confidence and being dyslexic and all types of things. Like, I struggled in life, and not in, and I hide things very well. I hide them not in a negative way, but I've just like, that's my personality of how I am. And it just, people don't see anything sad, or they're like, no, everything's good with her. But that's just how my personality is. It outshines like anything. So I've constantly been like built up my whole life. You're great. You're beautiful. Whatever it could be. If I have this huge blemish on my face, you are so beautiful though. Look at your eyes. Like, it's always turned
Oh,
into a really good positive. And so I've always been in that atmosphere, which is wonderful. But I also had things in my childhood that were very dark. Like, I was sexually abused by my dad, my biological. He was a druggie and he died, and all these things. And then I've seen counselors and I've done all the things. But I also grew up with an amazing father that is my dad, that he's been with me since I was like a baby almost, so it's just things that I've had in my life, but I don't highlight it because I just go, that's not who I am. That doesn't define me, but this is my way of like, my personality outshines so much. So I honestly just have to constantly think like, it could be worse, or, so we're going to make the best of it. So every situation that I'm in, I always look at it that way. And then people that come into my life, I'm like, there is a reason that you are in my life. There's a reason I ran into you. There's a reason that I was introduced to you. So I always, as a Christian woman, and just my faith is so strong, I'm like, God's placed us in each other's paths. And I don't say that like nonchalant, like I truly believe it. And
yeah.
so if there's a friendship that comes off of that, and then it can turn into a business relationship, and or it can be like, I can highlight what you're doing, vice versa, then I'm like 100% on board for that, because this world is so huge. We all have plenty of space for a platform. my business is not going to be ripped underneath me because you're coming in. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, there is room for growth for everyone. But I like to be around people that are also very like-minded, people that think like me, even though I think very differently and crazy, right? Like, I'm definitely crazy, but that think like me in a way of, we can overcome this. Okay, how are we going to climb this mountain that seems impossible? Okay, this is how we're going to do it. Let's do it, right? There's teamwork that comes involved. And so I like to put myself around people that literally fill my cup, and I can fill their cup. I can make someone laugh, but I can also cry with you. We can talk about the sad, the dark, but we can also turn that into, all right, now what are we going to do to fix it? How are we going to make this great? So that's a little bit about how I am and how I became so awesome.
Yes, and you said a lot, actually. Let's slow down a little bit. One thing that I want everybody to hear, like, environment is really important. It's not that you cannot like overcome adversity, but one thing that you had in your environment that I know that I did not have to that degree, was that you were in an environment where speaking life was like the first language, right?
Mm-hmm.
First language was speaking life. You're great. You're wonderful. You're awesome. You can overcome it. You can do this. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Not to say that my mom didn't encourage me. She did. She absolutely did. But I also came from a family who can be critical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so growing up, being fostered in an environment where somebody is speaking life, then you learn how to speak that too, which really speaks volumes, because that was kind of one of the things that gave me a little hesitancy with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like so nice and so super like exciting and encouraging. I don't know if I can trust this. Like, fake. Exactly, because it's not just, it's like her superpower. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is like her superpower, and she does not reserve it. That's one thing that really I'm inspired by, actually. It's not reserved. So my superpower, I feel like, is encouragement, but I have a reservation. Like, I'm very reserved in who gets it. No, I'm not going to be just encouraging it. I know what I mean? Like, in person anyway, I'm like, I don't know. But she's just like, oh my gosh, hi, you're so great. Come on in. Like, that is so amazing. And it makes sense that that is the language that you learn to speak first. It also makes sense that you, as a result of that, because what that really does when we learn to speak life, what we're really doing is focusing on the promise. We're focusing on the truth. We're focusing on the positive, as opposed to highlighting negative things, which is why you so quickly kind of scaled over the fact that you had some dark times in your life, one of which was...
I'm like, how fast can I say this?
I'm like, I didn't know if you were going to share it. I'm like, well, probably not. I certainly wasn't going to ask about it. But I need to slow down there for a second, because somebody's listening who has been through something horrific. And because they've been through something horrific, they feel like they are unable to heal from it, get a different mindset from it. You talked about, you didn't just talk about like molestation, you also talked about like the road to healing, which you also kind of sped through a little bit too, which was therapy, which I think is huge. Listen, y'all know that I want women and men, I love y'all men, sorry, but I want men and women to go to the Bible first for any problem that they face. First is not last. First is not only. Right? So if I'm dealing with something and I go to the Word of God and I need additional help, then listen, ma'am, sir, get the additional help.
Right.
Go to therapy if you need therapy. Get the medicine if you need medicine. Whatever it takes for you to get the healing. One, if you're old enough to be listening to this podcast, if you're an adult listening to this podcast, then what I'm telling you is that your healing is your responsibility. You are responsible for that. Nobody owes you healing. Yes, it's unfortunate what happened to you. No, I don't have any idea what it's like. No, I don't know what you've gone through. No, I don't know what they said to you, who did it, the people who were supposed to protect you that didn't. You are absolutely right. But Amber is living proof, right, that we have the power and the ability to heal fully. Not that it's an overnight thing. It took her 2 seconds to go from trauma to healed in conversation. That is not how she lived it out in her life.
Right.
Right. So it's so important for you to get that it is possible for you to have peace. It's possible for you to have joy on the other side of whatever trauma or catastrophe or loss you've experienced.
Right.
But there is a choice on what we focus on. No, we don't choose. You didn't choose what happened to you, but you do have a choice on what you focus on. The word says, take captive every thought that comes against the word of God, which means we have the power to do that. And there are so many people who are equipped and educated to help you heal. You don't have to be tied to the bitterness, the resentment, the anger, and the hurt, shame, and guilt of what was done to you. That's not yours to own, right? That's not yours to carry. Right. I love that you said, it does not define me. It does not define who I am. Come on, Amber.
Yeah.
Come on, Amber, with the word.
And as you're speaking, I kind of forget these things about me. I know that sounds very, like, I don't even know the word to use for that. Like, it just sounds like, really? How do you forget that stuff? But it doesn't define who I am. People that have known me for years still don't even know this stuff about me. Because it's something
the podcast is coming out, so.
So now everybody, welcome to my life. And it's nothing that I'm like, you know what, let me tell you about my life. Like, I don't do that. Not that I feel like I shouldn't. I just don't feel in a way that, in selfish ways, like, well, now let me tell you my story. Like, which I don't mind people opening up their story to me or me opening up to them. But that's not my gift. I want to learn about you. I want to talk about you. And you know what I mean? I want to be in the moment. Because I find if I dwell on stuff that's happened to me or that I deal with on a daily, I'm like, man, that would put me in such a dark place that I just feel like I can't do anything. I'm stuck. And how do you dig back out of that? Girl, it's like somebody digging you buried alive and you got out and then you're like, you know what, let me get back in that hole and experience that one more time. Why in the heck do you want to get back in there? Are you kidding me?
You sound like a crazy person, right? Like, I know people are listening. It sounds so unrealistic. Even I right now I'm thinking, well, even I right now am thinking, and listen, let me just tell you this. We're not talking about burying your story, stand in your truth. But there's more of there's this the way we frame it, right? So some of us lead with our hurt. Some of us lead with our pain. Mm-hmm. And you just live in your present. And if you should feel led or have the opportunity to share your story, then you're going to share it in that moment. But it's not necessarily what you lead with, because I lead with who I want people to know I am. And actually, Amber, that's a place that I struggle. Not that I lead with necessarily my pain, but I do lead with who I used to be sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. I say that all the time. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. It reminds me of Paul. You know, Paul is my dude. Paul from the Bible, the apostle Paul. Just so we're clear, Amber, you remind me of the apostle Paul. And the letters that he writes, if you guys look at them, he wrote a lot of the New Testament. And in those letters, he starts off with who he is right now. And he's always like, I'm that dude. I'm the best. The apostle Paul, chosen by God, appointed for this work. Holla at your boy. Like, every single letter starts like that. He does not start the letters with, hey, I'm Paul. My name used to be Saul. I watched Stephen be murdered. I used to kill all these Christians. Yeah, and then the Lord changed me and he blinded me. Like, that is his, oh yeah, I was at the highest rank. That's his story, but it doesn't serve the purpose that he's living in right now, right?
Right.
So I feel like sharing your story, come on, God. I feel like sharing your story as it relates to serving the purpose that you are fulfilling right now, then that makes sense, right? So if you've been called to share your story on a platform, podcast, write a book, then yes, share your testimony. It makes sense that you would share it that way. But if you are called into a new season, can't you see that God is doing a new thing with you? Don't start with, yeah, I was in prison for 3 years. And we share our dirt. I know that I do. Let me just tell you this. A confessional. We
We're
share
in
our
our safe
dirt.
place. It's
We
you and
are.
I,
It's
but
just me and you.
really, there's
And
millions.
listen, and our closest Courage Crusaders. We're a very close knit community here in the Courage Crusader camp. So, but this is the thing. I think that a lot of times people start with their dirt, or share their past because they don't want to come across as like fake. Because I know
Mm-hmm.
that I know we're going to talk about this for a second. Who knew we would go
Mm-hmm.
here? I know that you have had some conflicts in
Mm-hmm.
relationships because of the way that you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not carrying your dirt, you come across as someone who's never been through anything, which is the assumption of the receiver, right? It's my assumption. You've never said, I've never gone through anything. You've never said my life is perfect. You've never said that. And you're not a person who talks down about other people or who puts other people down. That's not your style. You're just a very
Right.
positive and encouraging person. And so what happens is when a person who is currently in their struggle or who has been through a struggle and is defined by it meets you, it seems like, oh, she thinks she's better than everybody. She cannot understand what I'm going through. She cannot relate to my struggle because she's just had this perfect life.
Exactly.
And I think that people want to avoid that. I think that for me, I'm like, well, I don't want people to think I think I'm perfect. When really, I shouldn't be concerned with what people think. I should just be concerned with walking in the truth of who I am right now, of who
Yeah.
God has called me to be in this season, in this moment. I need to be more like Paul and more like Amber and not, right? They're in the same level, guys. The Apostle Paul, right next
Woo!
to it, Amber Michelle Lykins. I hope Alan
Yes,
listens to
sir.
this.
I hope so too. You know what? Let me. Oh gosh, yes, I will be hearing this like every day. Did you hear that? Making sure you heard that. Listen to that one more time.
Let's put that back 15 more seconds. Paul, the Apostle Paul and Amber Michelle Lykins, they're right there next to each other.
Oh
In the sense
wow.
that you introduce yourself, you lead with who you are and your current calling and what you've been called to do, and not the other way around, which sometimes leads to conflict. Can you share some of this? Like, how do you deal with that? How do you overcome the conflict of people feeling like you ain't never been through nothing, you don't know my story, you don't know my struggle? She's just,
Woo.
listen, and she's just this cute little girl. Oh, she's got this. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, she don't know my life. Her life ain't no struggle life like mine. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She ain't never seen a hard day in her life. Right? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, honestly, just like every other human, immediately you kind of get angry and you go, really? And then you kind of step back and I just go, is it even worth trying to explain? Because they're already so mad and they're already at a place of like, all right, I'm not into you, that I don't want to sell myself to you anymore. I'm done. Like I'm done. I don't need to explain why I've been where I am and how I relate to what you're going through. And I feel the same way because girl, I've been there. I'm just like, now I'm just done. But yeah, you get to a place where I kind of get like mad and hurt, and then I cry. I'm a big crier.
Yes,
I'll
she is.
cry because somebody looked at me wrong, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I do something to you? And Alan's like, literally, like, no, their mom's probably mad at them. Like, they're just looking at you. Like, it's fine. Like, you know, you constantly think, like, what did I do? And so I get to those places. But then I have to constantly remember, like, not everybody's going to like me. And I don't really have to, like, make that a thing. You know what I mean? So, but when I have become in a situation where someone really does not treat me like I'm treating them, or I just know, obviously, you don't think of our friendship, our relationship, our business relationship the same as I do, then I just know it's not what I've done. And if it is, then make me aware of that. But I think it's more of a personal thing that someone's going through. But I kind of have to vent a second and talk to someone about it. That's my biggest thing is I always go to my husband or I always go to my best friend. Like we always have a discussion and we talk. And then I go, what is your take on this? What should I do? You're an outsider looking in. give me your advice. What should I do? And I want to hear the good. Well, Amber, you did this wrong, or whatever I've done in that situation. I want to know so I can fix it next time, or I can make it better now. And so that's really how I really kind of overcome those situations. Try to fix situations, but a lot of times it's just not fixable and it's not worth it. And I'm very aware of people that I don't want in my life. I think I'm more aware of that now than I was in my younger, like 20s. You know, coming into my 30s, I was like, why am I even friends with this person? Like, why am I even friends with you? You know, I've gone through that too. I can probably count on my hand relationships of friendships that I just don't have anymore that were great. When I mean great, like great, travel together, families did stuff together, talked every day, texted every day, family, business, whatever it is. And like these people I just don't talk to anymore. And it really does. Like it gets to a place of like, man, that sucks. But then I go, you know what? I have grown. And that's where I get in my life is like, I have grown in my life and my relationships and my faith that has grown. So if you're not willing and able to grow with me, then I can't hold on to that, you know? So I think a lot of it is me because I have changed as I've gotten older, but also I just have to kind of wipe my hands of it, cry a minute, get upset, get mad, and just go like, all right, it's all right. It's all right, you know?
Oh, that is so good. Which is why it's important to have like-minded individuals, right? And we're not talking about, we don't agree on everything. Even Amber and I do not agree on everything. We disagree on plenty. But when we're talking about like-minded and having these people in your circle, it is like, do they have the same value system? Do they believe great things for themselves? What is the standard by which they decide what's right and what's wrong? And unfortunately, if we are not on the same page as that, then I'm probably not going to be getting advice from you, and you probably can't help me grow. I'm not suggesting that you cut people off, but what does happen is that you grow and the differences become too much for the relationship. They can become too much for the relationship, and that you just have to be okay with that. And it is painful, and you do cry and you do get upset, but you have to decide, you know, what are you committed to? Are you committed to your growth, right? To the person that God is calling you to become, or are you committed to like saving these very comfortable, you know, relationships? Sometimes, you know, God is moving you. It's not that you're losing things. It's that God is moving people out of the way to make space for the people that are going to come into your life and you're going to go into this next season of life with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love that, you know, you are so dedicated and committed to your purpose and your drive. So let's talk about your business, because you are very committed to this. You're extremely committed to it. And so, yes, with the encouragement that you got from your mom, that probably allowed you to get the confidence to believe that you could be successful in an area where a lot of people are not successful entrepreneurs, or people have tried to step out and do direct sales or start businesses or multi-level marketing or whatever they're trying to do. Lots of people have tried it or have been afraid to try it. So now we understand how you got there and who you are as a person. Talk to us a little bit about the business aspect, like why you do what you do the way you do it.
Okay. Funny that I'm in cosmetics, because I was never a pageant girl, a glamour girl, let me put my skirt on today and my heels. Like I was, let me put on my jeans and my t-shirt and my ball cap and go ride horses. Like that was the type of girl. Oh, let me date the dude that drives the truck that gets muddy. Like, oh, you want to go four-wheeling? Let's go four-wheeling. Like I surprised myself. Like I always loved pretty and nice and clean and put together, but like I just have like a very like, you know, just easy way of how I grew up. You know what I mean? It wasn't very fluffy and like romantic in the sense of like girly girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I started dabbing into what I was going to do for my career, I kind of panicked, and I'm like, nah, I don't know what I want to do. And I did. I kind of panicked. And I loved animals. Like, again, I rode horses. Like, I always had pets. I would sleep outside with my animals. I was a crazy person. I was in the woods trying to find squirrels. I was like, who can I talk to today? We would talk to trees. Like, I was so weird. I was a weird kid. Curly hair that I couldn't maintain. It was dumb. And I was like, who would ever date this woman? And look at me now. Glamour queen, girl, don't even look like myself, right? So, but what interested me in cosmetics was not even the makeup, but it was the business part of it. And it was like, all right, you're a business owner. A, you can kind of call the shots. That is 100% my personality. Love that. So there's B. C is you can make as much or as little as you want to. You can design this business for you. So I was like, done. I can learn makeup. Not a big deal. And what I did love is always feeling beautiful. Like, I wanted to fix my hair. I wanted to do the things. So I was also in a place getting into this business within cosmetics and working. And I chose Mary Kay and they chose me, right? Like, they still choose me to be a huge ambassador and consultant for this brand. But I absolutely love when I get ready and I get cute, how my confidence is already almost at a 10, but now it's like at a 10 for sure when I get myself together. And I'm like, now I really can do anything. And so I built my business on that. I was learning as I was teaching, and I was noticing women were happy with the choices they were making, with the purchases they were having with me, and they were getting results, and they were just as content going to the store, but they were also content with purchasing from me. And they were like, well, if this supports you, then I'll buy this from you. Like, I'm still happy either way with whatever mascara I'm buying, but they invested in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a miracle product. It was just, it's good stuff. So yeah, and that's the thing that I had to remember as a business owner is you can buy makeup anywhere. You can buy skincare anywhere. Like, why with me? Why am I different? And I find that that's what attracts people to me, is that they really do see like, oh, I just like Amber because I'm just who I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Cool. Like, there are other people that will do business with me and that I can work with. So cool. And so that's kind of like an entrepreneur spirit, I feel like, is that you cannot be so invested in one person and think, oh my gosh, well, without you, I'm nothing and I'm not successful. You have to go, no, like, I'm going to love you where you're at. If you're ready to work with me, cool. And if you're not, you're not. But, I'm moving forward without your business or whatever, right? Like, and that's my mindset, is that I'm going to do this with whoever wants to do this with me, is because it's my passion and what I love. And now I am basically, my purpose is to really make sure women are having good skincare and they're having good makeup results. They're feeling good about themselves and they're having a flawless image. And flawless may look very different for everyone. Flawless doesn't mean I'm a size 2 and I got bleached blonde hair and all the things. Flawless is like, you know what? I'm polished. I'm clean. Like, I don't have oiliness. I don't have dry patches. Okay, I'm together. I'm good. Flawless is like, let's talk about who does our hair. Who do you go to get your nails done? Like, what do you do for yourself to make you feel great? And those are the conversations I have with my clients. And so with running a business and being an entrepreneur, that is my spirit, is to be very educational and to have those conversations with women so we can honestly be the best self that we can be. Because if we didn't shower for days, we feel like crap. If we didn't shave, we feel terrible. If we have a breakout, we're like, don't look at me. But if you have something in your bathroom, or you go to your nail tech, or you go get your hair colored, it's insane. You can have a breakout and you just got your hair colored and you feel like a new woman. Yeah. You're like, nah, I'm amazing. Like, I'm everything. It just really makes your spirit like, wow, come to life. And like, that's what we have to remember in our heart, is that is truly who we are. And we sometimes mask it. So I really have those real conversations with women. I'm like, what makes you feel really good about yourself? And you're beautiful with this breakout or without this breakout, but how can we fix it? How can we get it gone faster? Like, what's going on? And then how do you eat? Like, I'm not an exerciser. I never have been. I'm just not my thing, but I have this amazing fitness instructor here in Charlotte that she's awesome. So if I want to go work out with her, I totally can. And she's always there. If I work out with her, if I don't, like, I can confide in her and be like, listen, I got some issues happening. What do we do? You know what I mean? I just realized, like, you have people that you can trust, and that I want to be that person to refer people and to just really help women find that inner queen. You know what I mean? So
I do. I love that we first started with like who you are as a person, because I know that when it comes to the beauty industry, it seems like a very shallow thing. It doesn't seem like you could find actual God-given purpose in makeup. And I'm just saying what people think sometimes. So
yes,
this is just what it is, right? So I love that we started with who you are as a person. And I want you guys to hear that. We didn't lead with makeup. We didn't lead with what's on the outside. We talked about her confidence. We talked about how she treats people. We talked about how she got healing, how she dealt with the junk on the inside, right? So she could be who she is, and she can do the things that she needs to do to build a life for herself. And she chose makeup, right? She chose beauty. She chose skincare, because there is a correlation between how we look and how we feel. That is psychology. That is what it is. People say when you look better, you feel better. It is true. You walk differently. Like when you are dressed up in whatever you love, I'm not even saying heels. Y'all know me. I'm very rarely am I wearing heels, right? I got a dress and sneakers on. But when I feel like my outfit is right and I'm a confident woman without it, it still changes how I feel in my body about myself when I look in the mirror and my skin looks great. Or when I look in the mirror and my eyebrows are on fleek or my nails are done. Like, it does give me a boost in how I feel. Now, that can't be your sole source of confidence, right? Because you have a lot of beautiful people that have a lot of junk on the inside that needs some dealing with, right? That happens. But if you start from the inside, why don't you want your outside to match the beauty that you have on the inside? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, right? Because lots of people try direct sales and it does not work, or it's too much work, or they don't make enough money quickly enough, or whatever. How did you stay committed to this thing?
Yeah. And how did I not go into something else?
Well,
That's something, that gets presented a lot to me.
Listen, because we go to these networking events, you go to these networking events. If you go to them regularly, then you will meet a person who sells Mary Kay this month, and then 2 months from now, they are selling something completely different. And then 3 months from now, and it's all still direct sales. They are selling something completely different. Now they're a travel agent. And they haven't really had success in any of those areas yet. How did you avoid the pull to do something else or try something else when you weren't successful, or before you became successful, I guess?
Well, my thing was I have to continue to practice always so I can be great. And I say practice in a way of practice and get the skill in areas in a business so you can have a successful business. Starting anything is not easy at all because it takes a lot of effort. I don't have someone saying, all right, here's your clients. Okay, I got all the people for you. I'm doing all your marketing. It relies on you. My biggest thing was the company that I represent, the name is there. They branded themselves, they promote, they advertise, they build the product, they do all the things. All the research is done. My thing that I learned now, I find that early in my career, I didn't know this. So it's very difficult for me to go because I say this all the time, man, I wish I knew the things I know now.
Don't we all?
Totally done business different always. It was not easy for me, y'all. I had people that would say to me in the beginning, oh, here comes the Mary Kay lady. Oh, what you selling today? No, I don't need anything. I would call them and they'd be like, I don't need anything. And I'm like, I didn't ask you if you needed anything. Do you know what I mean? It was a constant thing. When you are in sales and you are selling something, literally before you open your mouth, people will constantly think you're going to sell them something. And so for years, that was how people treated me. They knew me as Mary Kay. Right. And so years later, fast forward, but what kept me going was the ability of what I just told y'all before, and knowing my purpose and knowing that I loved it. So, you know what? You ain't paying my bills. So let's be honest. If you're cutting me a check every month and then fine, we can talk about it. I can step away cool. Like if you're going to take care of all my things and all of my trips and all this extra fluff that I want in my life, you're going to do that for me? Cool. All right, now we can talk about it. But unless you're doing something like that for me, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And if you have anything negative to say about my career choice, guess what? You probably have something negative to say about somebody that works at a high-end bank in a downtown area. You probably have something to say about their bank that they represent. Like, I don't care personally. And that is literally where my husband laughs and he's like, y'all really don't know the real Amber, because she's very, like, she's just all in. And I just get very heated over that because I'm like, I don't care. You could work for a hotel branch. You could work for, oh my gosh, Chick-fil-A, for crying out loud. And you could have an issue with them working there because you just are that person that's going to nitpick them. And I'm just not crawling into that. I'm not giving into that. I'm doing my thing. And so that is where my headspace was always at. And
stop. I got to stop you. I have to stop you because that is huge. That we need to sit in here for a second. This is huge. Do you hear her saying, I am doing this for me. I'm doing this for my family. Entrepreneurs, hear this. We are doing this for our family. You are doing it for your family. What your cousin, auntie, homegirl up the street, the people in the neighborhood, what they're saying about the choice that you've made to start your own business, whether it's to sell Mary Kay, whether it is to be a travel agent, like whatever you've decided to do, you've decided to blog, you've decided to vlog, whatever you're going to be an influencer. You are doing this for you. You're not doing it for the people who it's not for. And unless they are writing you a check, let them miss you with their conversation. Unless they have built a business, unless they've built a business from the ground up, which is where most entrepreneurs are starting. Most entrepreneurs are starting at ground zero. We are not being handed a client list. We are not being handed contracts like, here, so glad you started this. Here you go. Here's a contract. If you call these people, they are absolutely going to order from you. That is not how it works. We're all in sales, by the way. Everybody, even those of you who think you're not in sales, we're all selling. Somebody's got to be buying in order for that money to come in, period.
That's right.
You are doing this for your family. You have a why. You have a product or business or brand that you believe in. So push it because of that. And anybody who is not in line can step aside. I love that. I love that attitude. It's hard to live out sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that's why it's important to have an amazing accountability circle, a love circle, a support circle, a courage circle. It's so important to have that, right?
Yes, you're right.
Because everybody who's in your life that you are that you're attached to doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to see the vision, that they're going to be able to support you. And it doesn't mean that they're horrible people. It does mean that they cannot have conversation with you about what you're doing. You can still have lunch with them and talk about whatever happened on TV or whatever. But it does mean that they can't be in your camp. You can't have people on your camp that are putting holes in the boat and you're trying to get across the ocean. Just doesn't work.
Look at that analogy.
Just can't
I'm
do
going
it.
to use that.
Yes.
Oh, that is great. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't even realize there's water coming in until you're halfway there and you're like, dude, I hope we have a life vest.
Right.
Like, wow, that's huge. Wow.
You can be friends with them. It's cool, right? Everybody can't go with you on this journey. So that's super important. So this is going to be the last thing I want us to talk about. Because this no, it's not. It's not the last thing, but it's the next thing. It just blows my, because as soon as I said that, I thought of something else. This just blew my mind, right? So we went to a conference, a Great Girlfriends conference.
I knew you were going to say
this. Because because I've never forgot it. It is a huge thing. It just really, like, girl, you got me all the way together, okay? We went to the Great Girlfriends conference last year. Hey, Great Girlfriends. Hey, Sybil. Hey, Brandis. And
y'all were awesome, by the way. That was a great conference.
It was a great conference. It's a great conference to go to. You should go. We were there, and they had this, like, mixer, right? And we're just all there. All the ladies are there. We're dancing. There was a group of us, or probably like 10 of us that went from Charlotte area to New York. And we're having a great time. And there's a DJ and they have drinks and they have all this stuff, right? So it's great. It's wonderful. But people are taking pictures. Hello. It was 2019 then. It is picture time. It is selfies. Like you want people to see you in the building or whatever. And Amber would take pictures. But then there was a backdrop, and the backdrop had another beauty company, a cosmetics company, was a sponsor for this event. And so on the backdrop, on the step and repeat is what it's called, you know, where you go to an event and you take pictures. It had Macy's, because Macy's was hosting it, and the name of this other cosmetics company. And so we were all like, oh, let's take a picture. And a lot of us were in Mary Kay too.
Right.
We're like, come on, let's take a picture together. We're going to take a picture. And Amber was like, no.
I'm like, nah, it's cool. No, go ahead, I'll take it.
Yeah, and she was so nice. She did not have like an attitude. She was so nice. And we were like, what? Like, we were so confused because she's such a like, come with girl. Okay, we're going to do that. Let's do it. And so for you to be like, no, she was like, and she wasn't kidding. We were like, come on, no, we're good. She was like, no. We were like, wait a minute. I'm like, why are you not going to take, I asked, nobody else asked, but I just thought, we are here together. We are friends. This is the dang on event. This is the backdrop for the event. Girl, if you don't get in this picture, what is your beef? She was like, you know, it's just, you know, it's, what'd you say? Like, it's in conflict with her brand. I was like, what? And then I looked at it and I was like, oh. And I thought, okay, well, they are a cosmetics company. And I thought, huh. And so then she did not take a picture.
Right.
Take a picture.
I didn't. And I did not even think one thing more about that until, I don't know when we came back, when it got brought up again in our conversation. And you were like, that changed so much for me. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I knew what I was doing in the moment, but I didn't realize the impact of like, that's how hard I go for what I do. Right.
Girl, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
Listen, that blew my mind. She did not get in front of the sign because it represented a different cosmetics brand. And she's like, I have clients. I'm running a business. This is the brand that I stand behind. And I thought about it off and on for like, you know, days and weeks after until I brought it up. And I was like, this is insane. And I started asking myself, do I go as hard for Courage Molina and Dose of Courage as she goes for Mary Kay? Because I believe in what I'm doing and I believe in my brand. Do I have these boundaries where I'm like, not even for a millisecond am I going to do something? And it wasn't, listen, it didn't have any naked butts or boobs on this thing, right? We're not talking about something that was salacious or something that was in poor taste. It was an amazing banner, right? It was professionally done. And it had another cosmetic company's name all across it, all over it. They gave a free giveaway also. They also gave swag bags that same cosmetic company gave. She was like, she didn't even take the free stuff, y'all. Like, wait, what? And then I started to think about it, and she kind of said some things like, you know, if you were on a basketball team, would you be seen wearing another team's jersey? No.
Right. You know how confused your audience would be?
They would be like, oh, she worked for them now?
Yeah, like so confused.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine LeBron James in a Chicago Bulls? Like, just like, oh, I'm a fan. Or I needed to do laundry. Or it's just a shirt.
Yeah, it's just a shirt. No big deal. No, it's a deal.
Yeah.
It is a deal breaker. I don't like it. Wow. That's crazy.
That was such a huge thing. Why? Why though? Like,
you know what? My heart is so deep into this company. I don't know if it's because of the years that I've been involved. But I really think it would be this deep because I know the story. That's really what it is. It's not, now I love the product. It obviously works wonders for me. I look like I'm 12. Kidding. maybe 23 I could totally pass for. My brother's going to prom, side note, and I'm like, can I go with you? Like, I'll chaperone. He's like, stop. Like, I'm like, I would pass. Like, it's cool.
With the right hairdo, you could totally pass.
Yeah, I'm 34. Hello. But anyways, the product, yes, is amazing. But I find, again, this comes even just speaking of me representing a brand, that anybody can buy this cleanser from any consultant around the nation, right? But they chose me. And I know this Mary Kay brand, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this brand. But the reason I'm so loyal to them is what Mary Kay Ash did, and knowing her story and going through her autobiography and hearing that it is so like rock solid, that I'm just like, I'm ride or die for you guys. Unless y'all tell me you out, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I love it that much. And it's because I know the heartbeat behind it. And so when you let people in on your life, when you are running a business, stop with the fluff. Stop carrying the, oh, it can, or oh, it could. Like, give people the rawness. Give people who you are. Be your authentic self in all avenues of your business, because that's what people are going to connect with. And so I connect like that with this company that I represent. So yeah, if something's on a step and repeat behind me and it is a conflict of interest with this business, has nothing to do with this other brand, like, I respect them too. I've said this from the beginning of my career. These other brands of beauty are in business for a reason. They have also created something amazing that people love. They are going to sell it, right? Like, cool. But the one that I chose is this brand, and this is what I'm going to like go down with, you know what I mean? So if something negative comes up with the business, then I'm here for it. Then I don't walk away and be like, oh, that's on them. Then I stand there and I go to battle too. So that's where my heart is. And if you're in an industry that you are deciding to start a business or start working for a new organization and your heart cannot be invested in them, then you really need a second think about what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's it. And it wasn't even, should I? It was like, no, I ain't doing it. That's cool.
No, it was like, listen, can you imagine Aisha Curry at an event? You understand what I'm saying? With a Lakers jersey on, carrying around a Lakers champagne glass. It ain't. She's gonna be like, I'm good, fam. I will drink bottled water. I'm cool. I will be parched. If that's all y'all got, no one will be snapping a picture of me sipping from a lake. Like, not gonna happen. That type of loyalty, right? And so that was huge. Listen, when I tell y'all that completely changed, because it was nothing to her. When I tell y'all, it was no skin off her back. She was like, no, I'm cool. I'll take y'all pictures. Like, she's so married to it. She's so committed. And I think,
yeah, it's a marriage. Yeah.
Listen, it's a marriage. This is the thing. I think what keeps people from being successful in whatever they have chosen is that they are afraid to go out on the mat for the thing that they've chosen. They're afraid to say, this is who I rock with. This is what I'm rocking with. Is this or nothing? Because there's this idea like, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I can't get through it? Or what if I don't make money? Or what if I'm not successful? But you decided, I'm going to commit to this. This is the thing that speaks to me. Me and God are in this thing. I'm a rocket till the wheels fall off. No, fam, I'm good. And you're okay with the fact that other people don't necessarily rock with the brand, that other people are saying things, or that there are other successful brands. You're like, oh, good. I'm glad y'all are successful. So are we over here. And so anybody who likes what I'm doing, y'all are welcome to come. Like, but if you could, then that's fine too, right? I absolutely love it. Last thing, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the Courage Mastermind, which one sponsored this episode. 2, obviously I created, and 3, Amber came through the Courage Mastermind.
Yes.
Which is, listen, it's so weird in the beginning when you create something or when you have something that you have created with like, just not, you haven't necessarily created with a one particular person in mind, right? Like somebody that you know. You're just like, this is going to help somebody. I don't know who it's going to help, but I know it's going to help people. It is an amazing thing when the thing that you created to help people help somebody that you love, right? Like, it's an amazing thing. And so can you speak to the impact of the Courage Mastermind?
Yes. And y'all don't even like side note this, like, oh, okay, this is what she does. I know Courage, or, oh, okay, I can get in on that at whatever time. Like, if you're hearing this now, like, you need to research it, figure it out, get in on it. Like, this is nothing that you have. Y'all, we don't have like tomorrow promised for us. I don't even have like the next hour. I could walk out and something could happen. Like, we have to jump on things fast. So I'll have to say, being a part of that, it really opened my eyes to how you are going to end up being successful in your path. And it is overcoming things and figuring out the things that kind of hold you back. So for me to open up on the beginning of this podcast on like dark things in my life, I would have never, can I tell you, never, ever, ever, ever. I would have gone to my grave. Nobody would know. They would know because my grandma told them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, never shared things about my past or things that I deal with on a daily. But honestly, and I know this seems very like, really, but being a part of what you do in your course really opened my eyes to that, because I have demons that I have, right? And I have things that I deal with, and I have to forgive areas of my life or people, even if I'm not doing it to their face, right? But I have to forgive, and I have to really get to a place where I'm okay with that. So now I can move forward. Right. That is literally what it did for me. And that's exactly what, I mean, I've said this to multiple people about it. I'm like, that is exactly what it pinpointed to me. And it's just, you don't realize that in life. Like, you go on your day-to-day life and you think, oh, well, it's their fault. Oh, well, if they don't do this, it's why it's coming back, right? It's not working for me because of XYZ. We're quick to point our finger. But in reality, it's in our mindset and it's in our heart of things that we're holding on to that we don't even realize that we're holding on to.
That's good.
And that we haven't let it go. So we cannot move forward, you know? And that is literally, that's what it did. And it is so good, y'all. Like, you have to be in a place where somebody is filling your cup. As women, for one, we are very quick to, well, you know, my kids are showered, they're bathed, they ate, the house is clean, the laundry's done, the bills are paid. Cool. Like, you're constantly doing things for others. Like, right, you're always doing, oh, you need me to come to the hospital and bring you something awesome. And you haven't eaten today. You haven't showered today. You didn't exercise today. You didn't get in your Bible today. You didn't do all these things. We're quick to do things for others. But being in the Courage Mastermind is doing something for you. Learning how to love you, learning how to think about you, learning how to dig things for you. Because we're always like, yeah, girl, what's going on? Tell me. Oh my gosh. And we're like really helping our friends out, right? Like, we're constantly being this counselor. Well, being able to be a part of a course that now someone has studied and they know and they've been there and they're pouring so much time and energy in to helping you. That is what we have to do for ourselves as a woman. I don't care if you work for another corporate business, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're retired and you're a grandma. Like, whatever you do in your life, you need a place like this. And if y'all don't know Courage like that, or if you do, you're missing out, because you do. And if you do know her, you're probably like clapping, smiling right now, riding down the road like, yep, that's right, girl. That's right. Preach. I just have to tell you, you would be missing out if you didn't jump on that. And it's not because I know Courage. It's not because all that, like, yeah, we're great friends. Like, right. Like, you always go hard for your best friends. But this is literally, if I didn't know her or not, I would be like, this girl, she's willing to pour into people, and she's willing to do that. And y'all need somebody that's coming from a biblical standpoint as well. And that's exactly what you do. And y'all got to jump on it. Where's the link? Good. Give me the link, girl. Where's the link?
So good. Let me just tell you guys that I had no idea what she was going to say. I only asked. I didn't have any idea. people come to the program and then you ask them like, hey, can you share how it has impacted you? You really don't have any clue because the program ends and you don't know what they've carried and you don't know how they've continued to use it. Yes, I could see the progress during that time, but not at the level that I can see it at now that you're sharing, right? And so I thank you so much for one, trusting me and being a part of she was a part of that first run. Y'all know I was getting all the kinks out with her. And so I appreciate that. And I'm so thankful and honored that you were able to receive, because I was just reading in the Bible this morning and Jesus was saying, you know, a prophet is without honor only in his hometown. Like that's the only point where people play you to the left is when they know you. So it really speaks volumes that somebody who knows me was still also able to receive from me, right? Because sometimes you know people and you're like, I can't receive from them because I know them too well. Like I know what they saying, but I also know what they're doing. And so it really is like an amazing honor and just like, I'm so grateful to hear you say that. I love you.
You're welcome. And what you do, I have to say, what you do put out there, you literally do follow within your daily life. Like it is not oh, well, she teaches one thing, right? Like she'll preach that all day, but then really she's doing the opposite of what she's putting out there in her advice. And that's not how courage is. So but y'all know that. Y'all know courage.
I love you. Thank you. Okay, this is the last question.
Lies.
This is the last question.
Yeah.
This is the last question. The last question is, where do you go to get a dose of courage when you need it?
Yeah, I honestly love podcasts now. And that is not even a lie. Like I said this morning, I don't listen to the radio anymore. It's either some music that gets me moving. Like I love the clips that pop up on my social media sites. And it's like you drop your kid off at school and then the mom gets back in the car and she's listening to like, so, I mean, I can't even name a song right now. But like something so off the wall that you're like, what? This mom is listening to that? Like that is me. But it's either music that immediately gets me so pumped up that my headspace and my like attitude is on point, but then podcasts immediately. That is the number one place I go to. Then my second outlet is also Facebook. I love when you do your lives, but I even like will go to certain people's business pages that I know that they are doing things on an inspirational level that I'm like, that's what I need to listen to. I don't need to listen to the junk. Like I already have enough junk coming in my own mind that I can create. Like I don't need anything else. I need to be getting full, right? So I love podcasts and I love Facebook for like scrolling and finding my, top people. And I'm quick to block and delete. Honey, if I don't like nothing you putting out there, you taught me that real well. Delete. What you got to lose? Block them. Who cares? Yeah. I'm like, you know what? True. Listen, so I don't look at anything on my social sites unless it makes my heart happy.
That is such a huge thing. One, podcasts, they're free. You can listen to almost anything under the sun. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, please do yourself a favor. Go ahead and subscribe. Like just do it. But I also love that you said Facebook because I think that most people wouldn't say that. But it is because the same thing I say all the time. Well, who are you friends with? And who are you following? I'm friends with people on Facebook that I don't follow. So when I get on Facebook, I am inspired and entertained because some of y'all are hilarious. I'm inspired or I'm entertained. I'm not following people who always have drama. Now, I will let you follow me because I feel like if you got drama, you might need to hear what I'm saying. But I'm not necessarily going to be following you. So when I get to my news feeds, it's all just positive stuff,
Yes.
Amber Michelle Lykins. Yes, I call her by her full name. All three names. Right?
Yes,
Amber Michelle
Lykins. I love it.
Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. For finally, listen, we've been trying to do this like 13 times and it just like it did not work out. So I'm so glad we were able to get it scheduled, that we were able to overcome the technical difficulties that tried to stop us today so that you could bless the Courage Crusader community with all the wisdom. So listen, you guys, you are going to be able to find Amber Lykins everywhere. Amber Lykins. You can Google her. Boo. Do it. Amber Lykins. She's on YouTube. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram.
Pinterest, like to know.
All those things. What else?
All the things.
You have a website.
Yeah. If you're confused, just type Amber, Lykins. You're welcome.
She's spelling it for you. That's her favorite thing to say is you're welcome. I'm going to include a link to all the places where you can find her. So be sure to do that. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. I hope it has blessed you. As always, I'm your girl, Courage Molina, Chief Courage Crusader. Until next time, be strong and very courageous. Bye, y'all.